4 years is a long time. This franchise has been around a long time. And yet, every single day since August 21 of 1903, your Pittsburgh Baseball Club has had a winning record. Tick-tock. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins that I hope you'll also check out. The Pirates' cumulative record, and hear this out because these are some big numbers over the course of their long history, is 10,871 wins, 10,869 losses. That's right. They're 2 games over 500. And with the Mets coming into town and their billion-dollar roster, there's at least a decent chance that the Pirates could emerge from this weekend as all-time losers for the first time in 122 years. Why does that matter? Well, technically it doesn't. The object of the game is to win the World Series at the end of the season. Anytime you do that, your franchise is a resounding success. Anytime you don't, regardless of the circumstance, you have fallen short. But as these things collapse over time, and that's how I picture them in my head, I see different phases of the team, the former members of the team. Most unfortunately, when those people are lost, it just chips away. It chips at the whole thing. Whatever it was that got you into pulling for the Pirates, whenever that might have been, if that was a bygone era, if that was the 70s, even going all the way back to the 60s, chipping away. If you got into the Pirates, let's say when they moved into PNC Park, and there was a whole new level of excitement, and the team had been preserved in Pittsburgh and all that other stuff. All of that, chipping away, beginning with the Aramis Ramirez trade, getting a 3-year break there from 2013 to 2015, and then going right back to the way it's been for the better part of half a century now. We'll get the occasional reminders, refreshers, Dave Parker finally being elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame this year. A chance for everybody around the sport to appreciate anew what the Cobra meant, what an extraordinary skill level, athleticism, size, fearsomeness, everything that he brought. And almost all of that was going to be in a Pittsburgh uniform. Regardless of what you think of how Barry Bonds achieved some of the numbers that he did in San Francisco, he has never been, and I don't expect that he ever will be, accused of having done any of that in his time in Pittsburgh. So he comes back and gets honored, rightly so, I'll add, into the Pirates Hall of Fame. And there's a little bit of a connection there. Jim Leland goes into the main hall, and we're reminded of another brief but really good time in the franchise's history. Chip. Look at the current team and look at who's still the best hitter on that team. And you're reminded on a daily basis how special Andrew McCutchen is, and also how there might not be another one like him for God knows how long. Certainly not at the plate. Heck, even when you look at the kid that's on the mound and you see, hear, and read all the superlatives about Paul Skeens and where he stands among pitchers at his same age, at the same point in his career, and you realize you're looking at one of the best pitchers already who's ever lived within that context. And even then, you realize that someday, when we're talking about his career and everything that he accomplished in Major League Baseball, no one's even going to remember that he was here. No one's ever going to remember the handful of years that he had in Pittsburgh. 2 reasons. 1, he's going to spend most of it elsewhere. And 2, he might not pitch in a single important game between now and the time he's employed elsewhere. So there really aren't many, if any, connections, hard connections remaining to when this team meant anything. So yeah, this one's gonna be something. It's gonna get mentioned enough, most likely on social media, that it'll catch the attention of Pirates fans everywhere. You're not going to hear about it on the team broadcasts. You're not going to see it on MLB.com, partly because the official position of the Pirates, for anybody who doesn't know, is that they were born in 1887. They actually were not. They were born in 1882. There's a wealth of documented information to support that. So they can't even get that right. But this set of records, the one loss that I read off to you earlier, that's based on 1882. That's based on the correct year. They're 2 games over 500. They're about to have undone a whole lot of successful baseball that they in the city of Pittsburgh enjoyed over the first century. And all I'm going to say here is don't let it go unnoticed. Don't let it go unlamented. There were a lot of good, very good, and yes, outright great Pittsburgh Pirates over the years that built up that record. And poof, there it's going to go over just another lousy weekend where the other team's fans, the New Yorkers, are going to outnumber the Pittsburghers right here in this stadium. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Dave out in Ohio, who says, you have a way of pointing out from various angles, DK, just how terrible this team is. I look forward to your daily shots, even though I often leave with less hope and a worse feeling about the team's leadership. You regularly state that you believe the folks on Federal Street read and listen to your content. Do you think, though, that they really care? Because the more you point out what the reality is with this team, the less action they seem to take. Exhibit 1 is Ben Cherington still being employed. Feels like a catch-22. The more that gets said about them, the deeper they dig in their heels. It would be fascinating to be a fly on the wall of the Pirates' executive offices when your coverage of them is being discussed. Dave, first off, I think I appreciate the kind words. I'm not in this line of work in general to make people unhappy or have less hope, the way you put it. And I can assure you that if you listen to either of the other 2 shows that I do every day on the other 2 teams that I cover, the Steelers and the Penguins, you'll find that there's a different tone, there's a different set of content, because there's a different circumstance. And I'd hope that you'd also find over time that even as it relates to the Pirates, when there is something that occurs that's positive, or there's a player who rises up, or a move that's made, like the changing of managers earlier this season, that I'll react with the same open mind that I try to take into everything related to all 3 teams. This one, it is what it is, man, you know? To address something that you brought up early in your point there, I do know that they read my written content. I don't know for a fact that they listen to the Daily Shot of Pirates, at least not in any significant numbers. I have heard from a handful that listen to the podcasts, but I wouldn't consider a handful to be something where you could say, oh, everybody listens to it in there. I have no idea. Also, and way more relevant, I don't care. I find this out because I'm told this, or because someone over there will hear something that I say and maybe try to add a little bit of background or knowledge to it, and I always appreciate that. But no, do I get the sense that they're digging in because of anything that anybody on the outside says, me or anybody else? No, I don't think that's it at all. I've described for years that there's a very inward way of thinking. There's a very inward way of analyzing situations over there, and it's one of the most damaging things that can occur in any business, for that matter, any relationship in any walk of life. You've got to be able to take in information from the outside. You got to be able to take in stuff that might not necessarily align with the prevalent thinking that you're exposed to on a daily basis. That's not what it's like over there. Now, all that said, I almost feel bad now. It's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do a Daily Shot of Pirates when they're in this state. I really don't. I don't have much new to share. And I've said for a long time now that if you don't want it, there's one great way to show that, which is to stop listening to this thing. You stop listening to it, I'll stop making it. That handshake deal still applies. It's still there for me. As it is, I think you know that we're both way too pathetic when it comes to this subject to even entertain such a thing. And I'll see you all on Monday.